So I think taking a step back, there are kind of like two sides to how people view QSR. So on one side, we have like people like billionaires, like Bill Ackman, right? A huge portion of his portfolio is like held in QSR franchises, and he like talks about it. And then on the other side, like a lot of prospective franchisees kind of like are afraid of QSR, that like, it's a very tough business, like it's hard to manage. So you are like, both in QSR and in another like wellness brand. So how do you think of, QSR being a tough business? Like what are the pros and cons?
Yeah, it's certainly not easy. You have to deal with, I mean, it's high head count. At each one of my stores, I have, on average about 50 employees. It's hourly labor by and large, so it's pretty high turnover business. Got to deal with a lot of the general public. I mean, my busy stores do, 1,000+ transactions a day. And you inevitably deal with, a bunch of assholes every day. And it's unsexy. Like no one goes to college and says, man, I just want to fry a bunch of chicken. That's why I'm going to college. So that's, I suppose, the bad part of it. But the good news is that because it's hard, it almost acts as like its own natural mode. In that, people hear all the horror stories and, they don't even look at QSR. They look at other genres or franchising sectors. So, I mean, I think that's kind of a built-in advantage. If you have a good location and you're in a good market and you have good people and good operations, you can be cash flow positive reasonably quickly. And generally, once you get it there, it's going to stay there for, until you screw it up. And so you can make a lot of money really quickly, which I don't think a lot of people really appreciated. And I know that probably sounds like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. You can lose a shit ton of money quickly too in QSR. Um, I think one of the biggest pluses in QSR is you get to own the real estate. And every single person I know, maybe with the exception of Greg Flynn, that is, truly, multi-generational wealth, owns a lot of their own real estate. And, you get to do the opco, propco, where, the opsco hopefully makes money in the operations and pays the rent. And so, as time is going on, the opsco is paying down the mortgage of the propco. And, hopefully in 15 years, you've got a very expensive piece of real estate that's been totally paid off by your operations company. And so, I think that's the true genius of, what both of my partners have done is they viewed it as almost two very distinct businesses. And, like half of this business is a real estate company, half of this business is an operations company. And that's where a lot of the money made is on the real estate side. And, it gives you a nice backstop too. Like I'm still pretty bullish on Zaxby's, but if something terrible happens and everyone starts to hate Zaxby's tomorrow, we still have this nice real estate portfolio that we can turn into any other number of QSRs and still collect rent from. Not to mention all the other benefits of, bonus depreciation and, all that other stuff that you should advise with your CPA. Because I'm not a CPA, but it does have a bunch of built-in benefits in that sense. And yeah, I mean that's the pros and cons. But yeah, it's not sexy. Anything QSR is not going to be sexy, but you can make a ton of money.